Hi there, I'm Jade Colber and I am the Senior Marketing Manager for Email at 99 Designs. It's a real treat to be here today speaking to you all at Activate 2020. My topic is driving record customer growth to being blacklisted in the same week and what we learnt. So yeah, g'day, I'm Jade. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. I've specialised in email marketing for over a decade now, and I've worked primarily for large global creative communities, non-for-profits, and in the social enterprise sector. I'm a mum, I'm an avid cook, and I'm also a sneaker collector, and that's just a few of my shoes that I have on circulation at the moment. I proudly work for 99 Designs, and if you're not familiar with us, 99 Designs is a global creative platform that makes it easy for designers and clients to work together to create designs that they love. And it's our mission to champion creativity and bring opportunities to people all across the globe. We have offices in Melbourne, Australia, Berlin, Germany, and Oakland, California. And we have designers in over 190 countries across the globe. We offer design in over 90 categories. We do everything from logos, websites, wine labels, tattoos, iOS apps, social banners. And there's two ways to work on our platform. You can either start a design contest and have many designers submit designs to your brief, or you can hire a designer and collaborate one-on-one. And the process is really simple. You write a brief, you decide which way you'd like to work, whether that's contest or project. You finalise your designs after that collaboration, receive final files in handover, and if you've had a great experience, maybe even work with that same designer again. It's a real privilege to work at 99 Designs and be an email marketer there. I get access to thousands of creative designers who I'm able to leverage for custom email collateral. And here's a trio of some of my favourite emails that we've had recently produced by talented designers on our platform. Last year we ran a Tour de France themed newsletter. In 2018, a Godzilla themed Save Yourself Cyber Monday campaign. And last year for the 100 years of Bauhaus, we ran this beautiful solace email. So this is a cautionary tale. Now you know a little bit about me and what I do for 99 Designs. Let's get on with the main event. So yeah, this is a cautionary tale and not something every email marketer would like to admit to. But as someone who's specialised in this channel for over 10 years, it was a really valuable and timely lesson for me, and one that I really wanted to share, so I hope you get something out of this today. So a little bit of background on our Cyber Monday sale. So last year's promotion was projected to be our largest customer growth campaign ever. Generally, it's about a 3-day sale, and we offer $50 USD off all of our contest design categories. It's our largest sale and generally assigned the most aggressive targets. So we began planning in August. We knew we really had to start early if we had a chance of hitting our ambitious growth goals. And we really started to think deeply about our segmentation and personalisation, how we would take this campaign to a multi-channel, and also how we would internationalise the campaign as well. So yeah, we had to think long and hard if we were going to deliver a sophisticated campaign that really hit the results that we wanted. And even before any of the Cyber Monday planning begun, we kicked off with this October pre-sales season promotion. And this was really to, hopefully make a dent on our really aggressive Q4 targets. We went with a football analogy, and that was to appeal to our US market and the Turkey Day game tradition, which I hear is a pretty big deal over there. But we also wanted to keep the theme generic enough for our non-US segments. So yeah, we went with this Get Your Marketing Blitz Ready for Black Friday messaging, and we segmented our list based on industry, job title, business type. So we were really looking at targeting, people in e-commerce, marketing managers, SMBs, for example. We offered a modest discount off some specific design categories. So our business, advertising, and web design categories. And yeah, it was a really great campaign. It made a small but impactful contribution to our overall targets, and we would absolutely do it again as a precursor to Cyber Monday. So when we got into our Cyber Monday planning, we made a really active decision that we were going to email all 2.5 million subscribers on our list. We wanted everyone to know about this campaign, and we really wanted to rattle the cage in a sense. So all up, we calculated about 6 million marketing emails were projected to be sent throughout the week. So we wrote the creative brief. We decided on something more thematically softer than previous years that had been extremely sales heavy and focused. And we sat down with our copywriter and art director, and they got really busy. And a few weeks later, they delivered me this beautiful creative. And you can see that we split the campaign up into 3 different phases. So a launch email, a reminder comms, and also an extensional email, which was also optional depending on how our results were tracking throughout the week. You can see here we went with this beautiful elephant floating in the sky with a hot air balloon attached to his back for launch. And at the 5-hour mark, which was our reminder email, you can see that the creative was starting to sunset, as the deal was as well. And our extension email, we cobbled that up pretty quickly. We decided to keep it pretty plain text in a sense because we weren't sure whether we'd actually go ahead with it. So we didn't want to invest too much time into it. And the launch and reminder email creative was made by a very talented designer on our platform, Z. And Z is an ex-architect who really wanted to get back into design and illustration, and our platform was the perfect outlet for that. So how did we get 2.5 million subscribers on our list? Primarily, they'd been collected via organic means. So on our platform, through on-site sign-up or our purchase flow, and also via our blog, The Creative Edge. So you'll see here there's our newsletter opt-in form with a waving bear and a surfboard, and also a gated download form where we're offering a free logo ebook and we ask for your email address in return. It had been some time since we'd emailed our 2.5 entire list of subscribers. We'd generally stuck to kind of emailing our core most engaged group of about 1.5 mil. But we wanted to go really wide and hard on this promotion. And I'd also promised some list hygiene in early January 2020. So I thought that emailing the whole list would be a really good sort of baseline for that list hygiene and cleanup. And a little on our segmentation. We use customer lifecycle phases to determine the success of our email marketing. And our phases are defined by the following 6 segments. So we have phase 1, our acquired phase. So that's as soon as we receive that subscriber's email. Phase 2, that signifies when they're engaged. So when they've either clicked or opened one of our emails. Phase 3 is when they display high purchase intent. So have they engaged with one of our key purchase pages on site. Phase 4, the Holy Grail, when they become a purchaser. Phase 5, when they're a repeater, so that's 2+ purchases. And phase 6, so that 3-peater phase, and that's really when our customer hits our high value bucket. And, we customize messaging in our emails based on where the customer sits within the life cycle phase. So for example, if they're in phase 4, they're a purchaser, we call out, you've already created a great design with us. Here's your chance to do another. Phase 5, you know what it's like to get great design from our community. Let's do that again. Phase 6, we really want to thank them and we say, we're proud you've chosen us as your creative partner for so many of your projects. And just a really interesting thing to note is we don't generally send reminder and extension comms to that 2 purchase plus lifecycle phases, as they already sit in our high value segments and we don't want to give them inbox fatigue or annoy them too much. And send times of these emails are also optimized by geographical location. So people in New York, for example, would receive it at 10 a.m. EST. People in Melbourne would receive it at 10 a.m. AEST. So 99 Designs is a global creative platform, and one of our values is design has no borders. With that, we really try to localize as many of our campaigns and as much of our content as possible. So aside from English, this campaign went out in German, French, Dutch, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. And on all of our promotional collateral, you'll see that our discount values are customized by locale currency. And that's enabled by Iterable's very powerful data feed functionality. So all up, with emails in 7 languages, by 3 customer lifecycle phases, and segmentation by lifecycle bucket, the campaign had 47 unique emails ready to be sent prior to Cyber Monday. So it was pretty big. If you're wondering how the translation process works, it's it can be time consuming, but also really worthy of your time. So first of all, I collate the English collateral, and that's then sent to our in-house team of translators. I think it's really important to note that our translators, this isn't their sole job. They work across support, marketing. Sometimes our bilingual engineers even get involved, which is super cool. We like to give them approximately 1 week to translate and localize the content. So by localize, I mean, adapting the content for the specific locale or market. So for example, talking about a fall special, the season, wouldn't necessarily be applicable for the EU or AU market. So it's because, in Australia, it's technically our spring at that time. So after that, the translated content comes back to me. I then collate the emails and the landing pages manually. And again, that can be super time consuming. Try to get in the zone and get very methodical about it. Then I send it back to the translators for the final checks, just to make sure that it reads correctly, it's formatted well, nothing looks amiss. And after that, it's time to create those dynamic lists and start to schedule the emails. So all up, this is about a 2-week process, a little quicker if we're lucky and super efficient. Again, it's super time consuming, but it's well worth it if you're catering to a global market. And on the internationalization piece, we create these dynamic lists based on locale, and we use Iterable's locales features and regular expression to make this happen. So as you can see here, this is our super engaged German segment. And yeah, we always optimize our launch times and also always assign a fallback as well. In conjunction with our massive email push that we were busily preparing, we also had some paid promotion set. So we had some SEM ready to go, Gmail ads, some Facebook and Instagram promotions, and also an affiliate campaign. We also utilised our on-site promotion and notice bar messaging functionality, which appears at the top of our site and basically presents customised messaging, whether you've engaged with the email or not, and whether you're logged into the site. So once a user clicks on the promotional email, they're then cookied, and then this messaging then follows them around on site. So that promotion bar on site drove a whopping 20% of sales of the campaign. So yeah, it was extremely beneficial to have that up. And also our paid activity was really impactful as well, and we were super happy with the early ROI. So after months and months of work, it was all systems go. And when December 2 rolled around, we launched that campaign. We were busy scheduling, sending, executing across our 3 different offices, Melbourne, Berlin, and Oakland. And it felt so good to release such a large campaign that we'd been working on for such a huge amount of time. Pretty soon after we had launched the campaign, we realised something was not quite right. With about 2 million emails sent, that was when we kind of realised that point. We soon discovered that our marketing emails were no longer arriving in our subscriber inboxes. So what happened next? We were eventually contacted by our delivery provider and Spamhaus. Now, if you haven't ever been blacklisted before, you might not actually know who Spamhaus is. Now, I certainly hadn't, so I had no clue. Spamhaus is an international non-for-profit organisation that tracks spam and other cyber threats such as phishing, bots, malware, for example. And they have a lot of power. They have the power to blacklist you or whitelist you within a flash. So it turned out that one of our Cyber Monday emails had been delivered to a spam trap account and we had been blacklisted. If you haven't ever had a spam trap on your email list before, you might be wondering what it actually is. A spam trap email looks like a real address, but it doesn't actually belong to a real person, and nor is it used for any sort of outbound communication. It's basically a honeypot to collect spam. And there's two kinds of spam traps. The first one is a pristine trap, and that's something that's published across the internet, waiting to be scraped up, or a recycled trap, and that's a email address that was once used by a real person but had become abandoned and then converted into a spam trap later on. So our delivery provider had disabled our account and our IP had been blocked. So things were not looking very good for us. We had hit email marketing purgatory. Not a place I'd been to before, and certainly not a place I want to go again. This is pretty much every email marketer's worst nightmare, and we didn't know what the next steps were. We had a lot of questions. Our promotional campaign had come to a very swift halt, and we didn't have answers on how to fix it. How did a spam trap email land on our list when, to our knowledge, our list had been organically grown? How could we fix this 30% the way through our most commercially critical activity of the year? Would we still achieve the promised record results? It wasn't looking very likely at that stage. So our Cyber Week was ticking away and our really time-specific emails wouldn't have relevance for much longer. So we weren't really 100% sure how a spam trap email landed on our list, but here are some theories as to how it can happen. So purchase lists, it's not really a great idea. A purchase list doesn't necessarily guarantee that a spam trap email will be on it, but you'll never be able to guarantee the quality of leads that are on that list. Intentional contamination. While we all like to think that, the digital world is pure and good, there are people out there who don't necessarily want you to thrive. And also another spam trap option is old or invalid email addresses. They can really hurt your reputation way beyond low engagement. So we had to work fast and hard to find a resolution. And I'd say this cat was pretty much how I looked throughout the entire week following. So we really leaned on our providers. I was in super close contact with Iterable. They were extremely helpful, going back and forth on the phone. We really couldn't have gotten through it without them. We sought guidance from Spamhaus. As this hadn't happened before, we didn't know the steps forward. And they had informed us that we needed to send a permission pass to the problematic segment in which had the spam trap on it. Now, if you haven't run a permission pass before, and I certainly hadn't, it needs to look a little like this. You email your list and you need to get confirmed opt-in, COI. And if you don't get confirmed opt-in from your subscriber, then you must remove them from your mailing list. We also had to go through a process of, really accepting that our list would decrease significantly. So, our subject line of the permission pass read, "Do you still want to receive marketing emails from 99 Designs?" That was pretty much the easy part. We really laboured over the tone, messaging, the overall look and feel of the email. We wanted to keep it direct and plain language. We had internal discussions with all sorts of people who had suggestions around including creative from our platform, popping in blog content to really, ramp up the value that we offer. And we could have taken a completely different approach, but we decided to go with this here. And yeah, we went with this plain text letter style email that basically says we only want to send emails to people who want to receive them from us. And we said, let us know if you're one of those people. Click on this link to tell us, yes, keep me subscribed. And we said, if you don't respond within 5 days, we will remove you from our list. So again, I can't stress enough, we really toiled over this, and we went back to Spamhaus and we said, is this along the lines of how it should look? And they responded really positively, so we knew we were on the right track. I haven't encountered much documentation around performance metrics of permission passes, obviously because it varies so greatly, but hopefully this is of interest to you. So our permission pass clocked a 8.5% unique open rate, so 89,000 people opened that email, a 13% click to open rate, a 1.1% click rate, and an 0.7% unsubscribe rate. And that's generally on average compared to our other email marketing. So this email also registered about a 8% bounce rate, which was, a shock at the time, but really sort of indicated how many old and invalid email addresses we had on our list. So after the 5 days were up, we were essentially removing about 1 million subscribers from our list. But what happened to Cyber Monday amongst this chaos? So, as I said before, 30% of our emails had been sent. We were watching the engagement and conversion rates, and they were looking super strong, so that made us feel okay about things. All of our triggered emails and automated workflows had come to a halt. There was not one email leaving our platform. And eventually, 10 days post blacklisting, after sending our permission pass, it was finally resolved. We were whitelisted, triggered comms started sending again, and we really needed time to take stock. So we decided to rest the channel and really decide what our next approach was going to be, with about 50% of our list gone. In early January, we sent our first customer newsletter to a really small and engaged segment. We wanted to test the waters and see how people were responding. And we finally managed to begin our Q1 planning. We'd been so caught up in getting this resolved that had really taken a back seat. There was a huge silver lining in this entire process. Our Twitter community responded with some really positive accolades. So here's Kirk, and he said, everyone else is trying to keep their list full of disinterested people, and 99 Designs is out here disrupting the concept of the unsubscribe for the good of humanity. And that made us feel extremely good after a super stressful week. And then Alan said he nearly died of shock when he received this. He says, thanks 99 Designs, I'm going to stay subscribed because of this email. And the accolades kept coming in from our community. Josh said, it's a really great experience. Again, wow, this should be the gold standard and it's a great move. We were really shocked by this. And yeah, there was some other great things. We'd actioned our list hygiene that I had deferred much earlier than hoped. And we were starting 2020 with a really engaged and healthy list. It was an extremely tumultuous week. We learned a ton. And here's a small summary of those key takeaways. So the 6 things that we learnt: don't defer your list hygiene. Don't be like Jade. Here's the things that we're doing to mitigate this from happening again. Actioning bi-yearly list hygiene and deleting disengaged subscribers. It seems so obvious now. Removing soft bouncing email addresses from our list. Analysing low-performing sign-up sources, and even we'll consider double opt-in if it doesn't resolve itself. Audit your subscribe forms and add reCAPTCHA. We found numerous ungated subscriber forms where anyone or anything, for example a bot, could easily sign up for your email marketing and damage the reputation and quality of your lists. Champion list quality over quantity. So, our total list growth looked a little like this in January 2020. We'd seen a really strong growth trajectory leading up to the end of year. After our permission pass, our list went to about 50%. I think it's really important to remember that, bigger isn't always better, and it can be challenging to convince others of this. More leads doesn't always necessarily equate to more conversions or revenue. And one thing my manager Shane always says, it's really important not to get lost in our vanity metrics and focus on real value. Don't take it personally. Sometimes as an email marketer, you just inherit lists. Sometimes you're not necessarily responsible for growing those lists from scratch. So it's not your fault, and don't take it personally. Form a good relationship with your providers. This is Scott. Sorry, Scott, I should have told you, but Scott is our customer success manager at Iterable, and Scott was on the phone, on email, was super responsive, and I think our good relationship with Scott really helped with us getting this resolved as quickly as it could be. Trust in your subscriber community. Doing good will ultimately pay off. Across the globe, our subscribers were watching, reading, clicking on our emails, and I find that it's really often easy to forget that there's a human on the other side of that inbox and that everything is just performance metrics. So think about making Alan's day, and if you do, I guarantee it's a pretty awesome feeling. And you'll never guess what. We still managed to hit those customer growth results, the record ones, despite all of the turmoil. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been awesome to present this to you all. I look forward to networking with you and answering your questions in the networking session directly after this.